Chelsea, seriously, I just want you to know that I was here when this happened.
It's a stretch, and it's in, and I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Aguero! Guess who? It's him again.
What's up, and welcome to Absolute Sitter. I'm your host, Mac, and I want to thank you for checking out my content. Today, I'm going to do something a little different that hopefully will become a series in the future. I'm going to do what I call transfer conspiracy theories. So these are things that I think might be happening behind the scenes. I want you guys to stay tuned because there are great channels out there with Fabrizio Romano himself, the transfer guru himself. He has a channel you can get information from. There are great Chelsea channels like Football Therapy, like Blue Lines, that you can get great information on the stories that are going on. I want to build something over here where basically after you find out the information on what is going on in the daily stories, we can talk about our conspiracy theories, what we want to happen, what we think is going to happen, those kind of things. So that's the kind of community I'm going to start here. So what I really want you guys to do is hit that bell and make comments. This is going to be driven mostly by your theories as well, but I'm always going to kick it off with mine. So let's get straight into my first conspiracy theory on the transfer market. So my conspiracy theory is that this Fofana deal is done. Now, obviously, that's a little bit of a positive spin in the favor of Chelsea, and I know you guys are gonna say he's obviously a Chelsea fan, but hear me out. I think this Fofana deal is done, and I think this Fofana deal is more certain than the Aubameyang deal that seems to be more inevitable in everybody's mind. I'm actually starting to get a little worried about the Aubameyang deal. There was some reports that he flew to Paris, who knows why, instead of flying to London. But there are obviously things to be positive about the Aubameyang story. Aubameyang still has a house in Arsenal. He did look like he waved goodbye, but the whole flying to Paris made me wonder if there's some kind of weird transfer coup that could happen, would have him pop up and be a striker at Paris Saint-Germain. I don't know. I'm worried. I want to see him sign the dotted line. And yes, you can call me fanboying that one. It is what it is. We need a striker. There is also some positive things happening with Rafael Leao, where Mendes is floating an idea I really like, which is that he's floating Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Manchester United to go to AC Milan to kind of free up and kind of make up them being able to let Leao leave. I think this is more, again, along the lines of a winter move, but let's get into what we're here for, which is the Fofana deal. Why I'm so certain, and we're going to see very quickly how right I am or wrong I am about this conspiracy theory, is the Fofana deal, I think, behind the scenes is already done, and these are the two clubs, Leicester and Chelsea, kind of posturing themselves to be able to spin the best stories they can. It's already been said that Chelsea definitely don't want Fofana to wear the price tag as the world's most expensive centre-back. It looked like it crushed Maguire over at Manchester United, and besides the whole craziness of us wanting Maguire, I think this was more Manchester United fans' like prayers manifesting itself in the media more than anything else. There is something to be learned from Maguire, and there is something to be said that maybe a move away from Manchester United could also maybe reinvigorate and like reinvent him, you know, come up out the ashes like the Phoenix, because he's definitely been burnt out now. So what I think is, one, Chelsea don't want him to wear this price tag. So while they're creeping up and moving closer and closer to what I think Leicester's evaluation of the player is, I think both parties already kind of know this, and they're jockeying for time. One thing that I think about is, and we'll see very soon, is that Chelsea play Leicester. And there's no way that they would want, especially with the way they started the Premier League, even though they need the money, that they would want to sell arguably their best defender to Chelsea and then end up having him be able to play against Chelsea. So this whole thing with him training with the youth squad and all of that, it is partially punishment, for the player. But there was something interesting that I remember reading him saying, that sometimes, you know, his dad warned him, or something to the extent of his dad warning him that there will come a time when he'll have to play the villain. And obviously he's going to be made out to be a villain, like he wants this Chelsea move so bad that he's not in the right headspace to train. We see him looking crazy in the stands in the Dior, kind of watching the team from the sideline. It's already been announced that he's not in a he's missed 2 games already, and that he's not going to be in the mind frame to start against Chelsea. I feel like if Leicester really wanted to kick in their heels and they knew that they definitely weren't going to sell him, yeah, he might have been punished 1 or 2 games, but by now he would have been sat down by Brendan Rodgers and the club and say, listen, maybe in January, maybe summer, you can get this move, but you need to get this out of your head. The season has started. Don't waste your time with this nonsense. The only reason to progress with this training with the youth squad is to get him away from the senior squad, and also prepare him to move to Chelsea and have him train away from them, and also keep him out of the Chelsea squad that will face them. I think they would face too much backlash from selling him, especially, like I said, with the way they started. So I think there's something in that. I think you'll see this transfer deal, even though it's coming down to the line. You know, the game is the 27th. The window is going to close very, very soon. So we're going to have to see these deals come out soon. And we'll see very soon if I'm right or wrong. But I feel like mostly a lot of this was about him not playing against Leicester. Another little interesting thing happening. Chelsea seems to be throwing up a smoke screen of other targets. Again, Maguire was in there mixed up, as well as some other targets of if the Fofana deals falls through. Now, while I do think these are definitely backups or alternative moves, I think that this deal is done. And another aspect of why I think this deal is done is our boy Chalobah. Now, I'm a big fan of Chalobah. I'd love to see him stick around. I definitely don't want him sold on a permanent. And if he is sacrificing that way, I definitely want a buyback clause. This guy right there, I have high hopes for him. I'm rooting for his Chelsea career. But the thing is, right around the time that the first bid came in for Fofana, I remember watching after the game, and Timo Werner had come to visit after the Tottenham game. And shortly in the last couple of weeks, picking up steam is all these clubs that are supposedly interested in Chalobah. And I think what they're doing is they're building up Chalobah's like pedigree. I think he might end up going to Leicester much in the same way that we did the Cucurella deal. But Leicester didn't want to see him on the same level as like a Brighton. You know, they still want to be respected. So obviously they're going to need a player that's going to have... The fans aren't going to look at like, oh, they're just giving us their little youth product and taking our prospective like world beater player. So they're building up Chalobah. Maybe even taking the time to sell Chalobah on a possible loan move over to Leicester. That's not to say that he will end up there. I also think some of the links are legitimate. But some of these stories of Spurs being interested in him, I think one of the Milan clubs was interested in him. There's like 2 or 3, I think it's 3 clubs now. Inter and 2 other clubs are interested from Syria. And now supposedly Salzburg or one of the German clubs are interested in him. I think this is all to build up his profile, to make it that when he does end up getting moved over to Leicester, if they can't find their own alternative move to him, it doesn't seem like this like, oh, you kind of get our like scraps or our like unwanted player, because I don't see Chalobah as that. I wouldn't disrespect him that way, but I'm not sure if in the media they're going to look at Chalobah in the same way that Chelsea fans are going to look at Chalobah. So I think this is to bide time, build up Chalobah as their alternative. If Leicester doesn't find a real alternative move, then he'll end up going there. Fofana comes to Chelsea, and it gets to look like Leicester played hardball and the whole thing just conveniently wrapped up after their league match. That's my theory. I'd love to hear yours. You guys let me know below. Am I just wishfully thinking? Do you think there's a little bit of smoke there? Is it at least an interesting theory? Tell me why. Tell me why not. But yeah, I think I am more certain with the Fofana deal, and probably on the day of the match or the day after the match, definitely by the Monday, you will see the Fofana deal magically come across the line. I am a bit worried about Aubameyang, fingers crossed, because I think we can probably make it with Chalobah if we have a striker, more than getting a defender in there and kind of just doing this Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Raheem Sterling thing. So again, you guys comment below, let me know what you think about this conspiracy theory. Let me know if you like this kind of series, and I can definitely do some more on what I think is going to happen and some more interesting conspiracy theories that I might have cooking up. Thank you as always for checking out this content. Again, remember, smash the like, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when my new videos come out, and make your comments. Your comments are more than welcome here. I engage with all my comments, especially now while I barely have any. So thanks again. See you guys in the future. Until next time, don't get caught in front of goal and miss an absolute sitter.